Woohoo! We're live. We're live in this very great week in Umbraco community, right, Callum? Big
Huge.
week.
Yeah, there's, bunch of the releases that people have been waiting for a very long time happened, and a bunch of packages have been very rapidly moved over to it too. So
Yeah. Once again, after 2 days being when I was in Krakow having the retreat with our team, I've not spent so much time crawling Twitter and announcements, but and I was afraid that not so many things happened. And then today, when we are gathering all the things, so many things happen in the community, across the whole community. So let's maybe start from the biggest ones. Of course, you've mentioned the two big major minor releases, and one of the first ones is the Umbraco 7.15 release. Which is
7.
as it was announced, the last of 7 releases, minor releases. It has a lot of fixes, a lot of additional things which were merged to the code base during the time between 7.14 and 7.15. But also we want to mention that it has also some issues already noted after the upgrade paths by great community members. And one of them is the media tree is not showing, and Sebastian did a great work of providing the workarounds and some SQL queries which can bring them back, basically. And I've seen that it was already tested and it's fixing the issue. So if someone experienced the same problem with the media structure being wiped out from the back office, there is a workaround and fix. But of course, some of the community members may wait for another patch release, probably, which will contain this fix. There are some other fixes, mostly related to some package creators. Not more fixes, some issues reported by Kevin, for example, about the get by a key method. So if anyone also experienced those issues, there are some good chats and information how it can be achieved and approached in the next Umbraco releases and also the cloud releases and stuff like that. So
but the headline features of this release were faster publishing, faster previewing, sorry.
And performance in general, right?
Yeah, so it's a big improvement on V7 anyway, but it's the final one, isn't it?
Yes, and the bump of the .NET Framework version and some other performance improvements, new engine, the whole new engine, and so some more of those. And if people are using the 7 version still, they can of course upgrade. And the next one, of course, the big one, the 8.1,
the one everyone's been waiting for.
And we must admit it caused a lot of chats and internal movements in the community. People were starting upgrading, testing, fixing, and also upgrading their websites and packages and stuff like that. I was personally surprised because of course I've updated the Polish Festival website to 8.1. I found small issues also. I reported them. Sebastian responded immediately, and some of them will be definitely fixed in the next patch releases. But the general upgrade is just great. It works extremely fast, and I really like it.
That's what everyone's really been waiting for, as well as a bunch of API refinements and fixes that needed to happen. So maybe now this is where we start seeing V8 adoption.
I was going to mention Richard Soteman's polls, because he was doing the polls every week about the, let's say, V8 adoption.
Yes.
And some community members were voting about the current projects being worked on, and week after week I can see that there is a more and more V8 projects, and that's something what is really cool in terms of expanding and adopting V8 and projects being built on them. And also we can probably switch to the topic of packages in this case, because also a lot of the package creators were afraid that it will change a lot in the package implementations, and starting from Richard, he said that it wasn't so painful, and he upgraded all of his 3 major packages which are very popular in the Umbraco community to be fully supported and working on V8.1. Which was really cool.
Yeah, very quickly. I mean, he said he's on holiday now. I think he said he was rushing to get them
yes,
right before he goes on holiday. But it's it's really good to see people adopting 8 so quickly. I would love to see a month or two's time we could put all of the results of Richard's polls on a graph, and I'd just love to see the big
Grow.
maybe.
Yeah, that's great. And other packages, big packages such as using or translation manager were also upgraded and are fully supported right now on V8.1, which gives us really big package starting point. And I'm just looking for the information about using and translation manager. All of them are ready and possible to be grabbed and tested for Umbraco 8.1.
Yep. Yeah, and I mean, I've been using usync on 8 for a little while, and it's very good. So with the stability improvements and refinements that come with 8.1, hopefully it's 10 times more awesome.
Yeah, and together with Umbraco, Shannon released Umbraco Identity version 7.
So this is the popular package to replace the back office authentication, or extend it, right? To have
or extend it to support multiple logins. Yep.
Yeah. So you can use Microsoft or Google, and there's a Active Directory one and a bunch of other stuff. But this is now a V8 supported one, right?
Yes, exactly. So that's very good. Still in the same release cycle, we have more tools which were very useful for the previous versions as well.
Yeah, and models builder updates and a load of stuff that come with 8.1.
Yeah, API updates and stuff like that. And also other packages. Mark Goodson said that editor notes package was also upgraded and is working right now on 8.1. And we have some new packages. And I was in Cultive, so Sebastian from HQ released the first version of the package called Cultive Tabify, which is bringing the tabs back. And I recall seeing the Nathan's version of this package, or I was I can't remember.
I think Nathan made the one where you could just collapse the groups.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Seb's been hinting that someone should do this for a while, and he's gone ahead and done it, which is funny. But in fact, he's asked for contribution. He said he just hacked this together.
Yes,
it's a bit of crappy JavaScript. So if someone wants to go and make it good, then do. I think someone did yesterday. Was it Jerome? Someone did. I think made a pull request
with some cool CSS upgrades and better styling to fetch the general styling guide, let's say, for Umbraco 8. That's amazing. That's something what the most people were discussing about probably on forums. At least I'm subscribed to the most to a lot of threads about the tabs and missing tabs in V8. So yeah, it's possible. It's not so much hacking, and everyone can do it, and everyone can grab it and adjust it for their own purposes.
Yeah.
Do we have any more packages listed from this week? Probably not.
There was a couple of smaller things. So did you see Anthony's Visual Studio base solution?
Yeah, I even have it open, and maybe we can just discuss it, because Anthony raised some cool questions related with architecture and the general structure of Umbraco solutions and projects. And I've seen you've been involved a lot in discussions with Anthony, and this is something what I'm working on right now as well. So it's very interesting to have a sneak peek on other people approaches and other companies' approaches, and also we can help each other and discuss how we are building stuff, how we're structuring projects and things like that. And it's also on Anthony's Twitter, and everyone can participate in those polls and share their opinions. And there's a lot of other useful opinions and companies who are sharing, and developers who are sharing their own expertise, let's say, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was quite opinionated on a lot of this, but because coming from a background of building quite large applications, I've developed a different way that I generally work, and it's perhaps slightly different to what other people do. And I wrote a blog post actually about this for 24 days last year.
Yep.
And yeah, I'm opinionated, and I think it's absolutely right that it's not a hard and fast rule. There's no real perfect solution. Everyone has their way that they feel comfortable with, but it's cool to put a repo out there with examples of a pattern of how that might look and work for other people to follow. It reminds me of was it Jerome that built the hybrid framework?
Yes, it was Jerome. Yeah,
from it's V6 days, I believe. it originates from. Just this idea of having a sample-based solution that people can go and reference. And I've seen a million sites that
Yes.
know exactly
Yes,
where you
yes.
copied these patterns from, because so people do use them. It's
Yeah, but it's really hard to maintain them, right? Because I presume that most of the developers teams has their own kind of frameworks or baselines or class libraries which they are using, and if you are not keeping them updated and sharing them, it might cause issues. Because I also remember some issues with hybrid framework which were not fixed indirectly in framework, and a lot of people were just using it and reusing the some of the issues which were there. But yeah, that's good to see. And I also remember some discussions with Anders Bjerner about their class libraries and extensions, which are something what can everyone almost reuse in their own implementations. And it's good to see how other people and companies are approaching that.
Yeah,
always.
It's actually a similar discussion to something we had at the London meetup yesterday night. So there was a chat about starter kits and the place that they have, and do people use them, and do people like them, and do we need a better one? Or we probably do need a better one for V8. And it was a lot of questions about, like, how opinionated should it be? Should it, because people start using these as a reference point. So should it be overly complicated and do everything that it's supposed to do in the best way possible, or should it just be a nice show of the features of Umbraco? Or I don't really know. And we kind of came to the conclusion to do this, keeping it up to date, making sure that it's following best practices and standards is tough. And yeah, also it's wrong to assume that some people have a certain level of knowledge or work in a certain way, and that they would follow that. And yeah, I don't know. It's a really tricky one.
It is.
Really tricky.
Even seeing my presentation, which was called Umbraco Code Best Practices, and the number of views on this, people are just looking for best practices. They are looking for some kind of, baselines to follow, and it's hard to find a single baseline. There is no single baseline. There's no best practice for anything, because you can approach things in the different ways, and they will be still good if they are working as you're expecting it to be working at the end of the day. Yeah, that's a very big topic. Maybe it's an idea for a bigger discussion, bigger episode, maybe more community involved chat.
Yeah, I think so. It's the kind of thing we could probably talk about for hours, especially if we were to get some of the purists in the community to come and share their wisdom about certain areas. I can imagine that conversation going on for days.
Exactly. You've mentioned events, and I might be biased, but I want to share that we have a call for proposal open for Polish festival, and I wanted to use this opportunity to involve and to invite everyone who has something interesting to share about .NET, Umbraco, open source. Maybe it's an idea for the open panel to discuss the best practices for Umbraco. Whatever else, any idea which you have about our community and things and builds which you want to share as a part of the event in Poland, in Krakow, which will take place in October 4th. Feel free to be invited. And Callum, I've seen you've submitted one of the talk ideas already.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I've got a couple of ideas. Maybe one about best practices too. So
yeah, that's so people, if you want to visit Poland, grab your ideas and copy and paste them from other festivals as well, and we will decide what might be very interesting to be exposed on the stage here.
Right. What's the plan for the Polish festival? Is it you said it's October the 4th, but is it a 1-day event, single track, 2-track?
It is a 1-day event, single track on Friday when it comes to the knowledge and presentations during the day. But we are also planning to fulfill the day before festival. And same as other festivals are doing it, we'll probably divide the day between either the hackathon and some workshops across trainings. We don't know yet. It's still ongoing discussions, but definitely if you are planning to visit the festival, around the day before the festivals as well.
And it's a good city to visit. Krakow's beautiful. I've been many times now, and it's highly recommended.
Yeah, I just came back from Krakow, and I'm already missing it. It's a great city, and I'm always happy to come back there, even if I'm theoretically from here, right? It's still good to visit Krakow because it feels different. It's a different city then.
It's got a very different vibe to a lot of even to Warsaw.
Yeah, exactly. And the last topic from the big topics on our list is the security advisory from the 9th of July. Let me share the screen. It was announced on July 9th, and it was about the some vulnerabilities. Right? Sorry, did I lost
it's that you can exploit this membership.
Yes.
And create members.
Yes, exactly. So Sebastian did a great write up about the whole issue, which versions are affected, and we can see that there's a lot of versions affected, and there are some patches which are already applied in 7.15 and 8.1. So everyone who is installing the latest version should be covered. There are some workarounds for everyone who don't want to update to the exact versions, and maybe if you don't want to also apply another patch with the medias right now before the patch release for 7.15, you can go and upgrade to the latest 7.14 and just use those workarounds from the GISTs here. I've created the
deregistering routes, I think.
Yes, I've created a merged version of the routes being registered and removed, because also there were some great chats between Ronald and other people from the community about which routes can be removed safely, and probably they will be also removed in the next Umbraco releases. There is a great detailed explanation, and big kudos for Ronald and Steven, who exposed those issues. And maybe we can use also this opportunity to send big high five for everyone who is helping Umbraco, not so publicly, but there's a lot of people who are exploring Umbraco in terms of security and sending great insights to the project creators, HQ, and everyone else to help the project become more and more safe and stable, and in general better.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, security patch, feel free to patch.
This affects all sites from like v6.1 or something.
Yes,
or
6.2 exactly.
So it's a pretty old issue that's been knocking around for 5 years, I guess now. It's good that people are still picking them up though, and HQ is still very proactive about making sure these things get resolved and are communicated in a transparent way. It's good to see.
Yeah, and I think that in general, all of those issues and communication between community members and HQ recently may just help to get back on the release cycles and fast release cycles, because those are issues which are usually fast to be fixed, and no one should wait for a specific event to happen before releasing the patch release. So yeah,
did you see in wider news this week the Zoom vulnerability?
Oh yeah.
It's like a textbook of how to not deal with security issue. They're like, yeah, it's an issue, but it doesn't really matter. It doesn't affect people. And then a few people spun up demo sites where it's going to exploit
chat roulette. Yeah, chat roulette using Zoom accounts.
Open Zoom. If you don't have Zoom running, you can go to a web page and it will open a random Zoom channel and your webcam with someone else.
Yeah.
And then there was another thing where they could effectively DOS your Mac and just crack the whole application.
We can make jokes, but it's not funny at all. It's a very big issue, and of course I've seen jokes which quick fix is just don't use Macs. but yeah, it's a serious issue. So everyone has issues, even big players like Zoom, who made Google Hangouts die, and has their own issues and fixes, and that's life. That's software, right? Software always has some bugs and issues.
Yeah.
Okay, and the last round of things which are listed in our other category, let's say, in terms of announcements, there were some cool blog posts being released this week. One of them is about security and 6 ways how to secure your Umbraco back office, which is really cool gathering of the ways how to really make more secure access to Umbraco back office.
Yep.
Then the next one is a new series which is started by the company called Unique Software Development, and I've seen the tweet. It's also in the introduction, because they've been working with Umbraco version 4 and right now adopting the version 8. And this is the blog series is a kind of the gathering of all of the changes, how the CMS changed.
Their last experience of Umbraco was v4.
Yes.
That's really interesting. So this is like a
Maybe not the last, but they've remembered their starting point in Umbraco version 4, and right now
groundbreaking update compared to
that's a big update, right?
Yeah.
From V4 to V8. It must be interesting to see it from the inside. And also, Owen released the blog post after his struggles with widescreen with after the Umbraco upgrade. So if anyone will experience the same issue, it's really well explained how what steps should be taken to make it back again. And the last one was the marketing suite announcement and their first tweet.
on Twitter.
Yeah, they're on Twitter. They will be sharing regular updates about the suit and in general the project. So I followed them, and we are all looking forward for more information about the project.
Yeah.
So hopefully it will be great. And yeah, we are all curious what will be built and when it will be available for the community and everyone else. Yeah, that's all from our list.
Code Garden Jeffrey said it's maybe Q3, end of this year, they'll have something to show, but no pressure. That's a huge task.
Yeah, it's a big project, but also seeing the interactions from the community members and the curiosity around the people's minds, it's something for what a lot of people is waiting. And as an insight, and I know maybe it's not public information, there are some other community members who are working on personalization engines and personalization packages for Umbraco V8, and that might be an interesting end of the year, because at least from our expectations and those insights, we can expect couple solutions helping us to deal with the personalization, which is a big keyword, big topic, and big implementation, which a lot of companies are looking for.
Next year is going to be really big for personalization in Umbraco, because we'll start to unlock a lot of this. It's a lot of work to get there, but once people have got some really cool solutions, I think that we'll see some awesome stuff.
And we have a lot of external solutions and external providers which are handling a great personalization work, and also AI being involved in this type of activities. That's amazing times ahead. And speaking about AI, your talk was released on YouTube, right?
Probably need to link out or something. Yeah, my talk from NDC about AI, which features Umbraco moderately heavily.
Yeah, it was a great promotion of Umbraco, to be honest. That's because it's a big event.
Without pushing Umbraco, like I just said, this is to my use, so I'm going to do something in that.
Yeah, that was cool.
I'm actually going to be doing the talk in the Netherlands at the Global AI Night in September. So yeah, but there's a recording online. I'll put a link below.
Yeah, we'll put this here. Cool. That was an amazing week. Cool. Looking for the next one. Even if it's a summer, people are just not wasting time.
Yeah, people are still busy. I'm surprised most of HQ is on holiday, and they managed to release their two biggest releases. And Richard's gone on holiday now, and he's been bashing out releases this week too. So it's incredible that people are still doing so much.
So should we plan a holiday for the next weeks ahead and just force ourselves to complete more work then before going on holiday?
I don't think that would motivate me, and I think actually when I come back, I'll just be depressed. We're like, oh.
With issues raised on GitHub for packages being released. No, but that's good. It's great to see it, see the community so active, and even see the YouTube chat so active today. Thanks, people, for being here with us. And what, we will see each other just as usual in the next week.
Cool.
Yes, have a nice weekend. Cheers, guys.
Bye.
Bye.